The Murmuring Mirror by Eleanor Dixon. Chapter 1. If she hadn't been a ghost, Grace would have held her breath. Lauren's ballet exam results were in that envelope, and the weight was unbearable. But Lauren's hands were shaking so much. Each time she tried to slide the letter opener under the flap, she missed. It didn't help that Rodney, the ghost of Amberwood's stable boy and Grace's best friend, was floating upside down above her, trying to slide his finger under the seal from the other side. "Stop it, Rodney," Grace hissed. "We come to Lauren's home to help, not hinder." "Would you like me to open it, sweetheart?" Lauren's mom asked, pulling her dressing gown tighter around with a shiver. Grace knew it was her and Rodney's presence that was causing the air to freeze in the tiny hallway, but she'd promised Lauren she wouldn't miss this. They'd been waiting on tenterhooks for the entire Easter holidays. "No, it's okay, I can do it," Lauren answered, but came out in a rush. Grace could feel her young friend's heart hammering. Her lips were nearly as pale as Grace's. Surely she had no reason to be worried. Grace had been there at the exam, and Lauren had danced exquisitely. And anyway, Miss Radcliffe wouldn't have entered her if she didn't think she was capable. She sent Lauren an encouraging smile. "Oh, the suspense is killing me," Rodney wailed theatrically. He turned a somersault in the air as he did one of his grubby bare feet pass through the envelope, making it and Lauren shudder. Grace was about to tell him off, but it seemed to do the trick. The tip of the letter opener slid into place, and with one smooth movement, Lauren sliced through the fold and reached in for the single sheet of paper typed inside. Instantly, Grace peered over her shoulder, her eyes skimming past the examiner's breakdown of her bar work, adage, center work, allegro, and point work. Lauren beat her to the result at the bottom of the page, and with a squeal, she leaped into the air, waving the paper through Grace's ghostly form and sending Rodney spinning to the ceiling. "I did it! I got high distinction!" "Of course you did," Rodney scoffed good-humoredly as he floated back to eye level. "Me and Grace expected nothing less." Grace twisted round and round, her blue dress swinging and ruffling her white petticoats. "Well done, Lauren. I knew you would do it." Mum leaped up and threw her arms around Lauren. "Oh, well done, darling. I'm so proud of you. What do the comments say?" Together, she and Lauren sat back down on the bottom step to read through the examiner's observations. Grace sank to the floor in front of them, listening intently, but Rodney mooched around the hall, pretending to kick the skirting boards. Then he started whistling. Grace looked up at him from under her curls and sighed. "I get it. You're bored now." "Well, we've done what we come to do," Rodney declared. "We supported Miss Lauren at this most significant moment of her life. I need to get back to Amberwood. I've got a plan for making the pipes in the boys' dormitories moan and groan like they're full of banshees, and I want to practice it before they all come back the day after tomorrow." Grace rolled her eyes and winked at Lauren, who disguised her chuckles as happiness at her results. "I suppose we need to get back to Amberwood as well," Grace admitted with a sigh. "I love being here with you, Lauren, but I feel a bit transparent when I step away for a long time." Lauren stood up. "I need to text Katie and find out her result," she said with a tiny nod to the ghosts. Grace got the message. She knew Lauren couldn't speak directly to her in front of her mamma. "I'll put the kettle on," Mrs. Mason said, heaving herself to her feet. "I'm ready for my breakfast now. I'll be glad to move into the kitchen. It's got to be warmer than out here in the hall." The ghosts and Lauren exchanged guilty glances. Lauren's mom turned at the kitchen door. "You're sure you tried on your summer uniform, Lauren? Because we've only got tomorrow if anything needs replacing." "It'll be fine," Lauren said breezily. "If you say so," Mrs. Mason said, and disappeared into the tiny kitchen. Lauren turned to the ghost and whispered, "Thank you so much for being here. Can't wait to see you back at school." "Only 2 days ago," Grace matched Lauren's whisper. She would have loved to give Lauren a huge congratulatory hug, but that would only make her living friend feel like she'd been sliced through with a knife of ice. So she blew her a kiss and grabbed Rodney's hand. With a final wave, they both vanished. Lauren bounded up the stairs, two at a time, and flung herself on her bed behind the plasterboard, separating her side of the room from her brother Liam's. She heard his gentle snoring and knew that, if her excited squeals hadn't woken him, he wouldn't be awake for ages yet. Her phone, plugged in beside her bed, was flashing with messages from Katie and Jay. She opened Katie's first. "So has the postman been? What did you get?" Lauren's fingers flew over the keys, and she couldn't help grinning with pride as she typed back, "High distinction. You?" While she waited for Katie's reply, she checked Jay's text. He got distinction. That was pretty brilliant, considering the injury he got when he first came to Amberwood. She sent congrats and lots of smiley faces. She couldn't quite bring herself to plaster the screen with hearts and kissing emojis the way he did. It felt a bit weird to be so gushing when she wouldn't be like that in person. Katie's reply pinged in. "Distinction? Am I over the moon? Thought I might only get merit." Lauren sent her a gif of exploding balloons. "Heard from Ethan?" "Too early," Katie replied. "New York is 5 hours behind us. Speak later. Dad's calling." Lauren sent her a thumbs up, then leaped off the bed, too full of excited energy to sit there and do nothing. She started pulling her school clothes out of the cupboard. She would start packing. A tremor of excitement rippled through her stomach at the thought of being back at Amberwood. Then she glanced around guiltily as though the walls could read her mind. She would hate Mum and Liam to think that she hadn't enjoyed the Easter holidays. It had been fabulous to be with them, and now she couldn't wait to get back into training. Lauren soon had an untidy pile of ballet clothes on her bed. She knew they would all fit because, for a start, they were all stretchy, and she had been wearing them all holiday while she exercised to keep supple. But she fingered her turquoise and white uniform dress dubiously. She hadn't worn that since last July. But she hadn't grown, had she? She threw off her dressing gown and pulled the cotton dress over her nightie. It was tight and went over her shoulders. She wriggled it down. Had it always been this hard to get on? "What a lot of huffing and puffing," came a sleepy voice from the other side of the partition. "What on earth are you doing, little sis?" "Just trying on my school dress," Lauren gasped between breaths. Suddenly there was the sound of fabric tearing. "Uh-oh. That didn't sound good." Liam poked his head around the door after a quick knock. "Kidder, you can't wear that. It's much too short for a start, and so tight you've ripped it." "It's all right," Lauren panted as she twisted round to see where the rip had occurred. "It's only here by the buttons. I can sew it up." "But you can't make it any longer." Liam pointed to the hemline that was way shorter than the school would allow. Lauren picked up the hem and turned it inside out. "Yes, I can," she insisted. "Look, there's at least 2 inches here that can be let down." Liam shuffled in and sat on the end of the bed. He blew his fringe off his forehead. "Where are you going to find 2 extra inches around the shoulders? You can't move. If you reach forward for something, you'll split the seams some more." Lauren frowned. "It must have shrunk. I wonder if the other one is the same." She picked up the spare dress from the pile. Liam took her arm. "Sis, it hasn't shrunk. You've grown." "I'm sure I haven't." Lauren frowned. "I'm the same as I ever was." Liam fell back on the bed with a sigh. "You're twice the size you were last year." "What?" "And still half the size of anyone else I know your age. Don't worry, tiny ballerina. I'm not saying that you're fat, but it's natural for you to grow. You can't stay 2 foot nothing forever." Lauren flopped down on the bed next to her brother. "What are we going to do? New dresses cost a fortune, and if I'm growing this fast, I'll need one every term." If only her scholarship covered the uniform as well as her school fees. At that moment, Lauren heard her mom's footsteps on the stairs. She appeared in the doorway, and her eyes widened when she saw the state of the dress. Lauren turned down her mouth in an exaggerated, sad face, and Mrs. Mason's lips quivered. "Come on," she said with a chuckle. "Get dressed. Looks like we need to go shopping straight after breakfast." Lauren leaped up and gave her mom a hug. "Thank you," she said. "I'll get a summer job to pay you back, I promise." Mrs. Mason stepped back and held Lauren at arm's length. Sweetheart, it's the least I can do after you've worked so hard. I'm always going to be your biggest cheerleader, remember? I couldn't be prouder of my dancing girl. She pulled in Lauren for another hug, and Lauren squeezed tight with her gratitude. Chapter 2. Back at school 2 days later, Lauren shoved the last of her belongings into a drawer and then perched on the end of Katie's bed while her friend methodically folded her clothes and put them away tidily. Everyone else, apart from Nyree, who was scrolling through photos of her home in South Africa on her phone, had already finished unpacking and gone off to the common room. Grace floated next to Nyree's shoulder, peering at the photos and asking questions about each one. Nyree deftly typed the answers so that Katie, who couldn't see the ghosts, didn't think she was talking to herself. Right, Lauren said, looking meaningful at Katie. Everyone's gone, so spill. There's nothing to say, Katie hedged. I told you, Ethan seemed distant. He was about 3,500 miles away, Nyree interjected without looking up. Lauren feigned shock. About? That's not like you, Nyree. You usually know things exactly. From London by air, it is 3,461.34 miles to New York. But I don't know how far it is from Amberwood or Katie's house exactly. Well, that's not what I meant, Katie said, reaching behind Lauren to lay her folded dressing gown across the bottom of her bed. I must I meant he didn't text much, and when he did, it was like you couldn't think of anything to say. And you haven't seen him yet? Lauren shifted out of her friend's way. No, Mom was in a hurry to leave, so we came straight up here to the dorm. Then you guys arrived. What about you and Jay? At least you were in the same country. Did you meet up during the holidays? No way, he lives too far away from me. Lauren didn't want to rub things in and tell Katie that Jay had texted at least 6 times a day, in between helping his parents around the family farm. She'd used up all of her phone credit trying to keep up with him. Right on cue, her phone pinged. It's Jay, Lauren said as she read the message. The boys are all on the playing field having a kickabout before supper. He says we should meet them there. She tilted her head at her best friend. Katie sighed. Yeah, let's. In one way, I can't wait to see Ethan. In another, I'm sort of dreading it. What if he got a new girlfriend over the Easter holidays? My gut tells me that's what happened. Nyree stood up and stretched to her full 1.3-meter height. There's only one way to find out, she said in a voice that sounded too old for an 11-year-old. Even though she was 2 years younger than Lauren and Katie, Nyree was in year 9 with them because she was super bright. And it'll pass the time until I can feel my rumbling stomach. The three girls headed out towards the playing fields with Grace floating happily beside them. They'd only just crossed the courtyard when Rodney came swooping in. Hello, Miss Lauren, Miss Nyree, he said while doffing his scrubby peaked cap. Welcome back to Amberwood. I wish you could come to the boys' dormitories tonight to see what I've got planned as a welcome back surprise. Lauren and Nyree threw him exasperated looks. He knew very well they couldn't talk to him in front of Katie, but that didn't deter Rodney. Hey up, he called. Who's this? Walking towards them was a lady in her 60s or 70s, dressed from head to toe in bright green and gold. From the turban around her head to the satin shoes on her feet, she oozed bizarre elegance. She was leading a little white fluffy dog, who was attempting to sniff each blade of grass as he passed. Oh, do come on, Wolfie, chided the woman. We'll get nowhere at this rate. Nyree cried out and rushed towards the dog with her hand outstretched. Can I say hello? She asked, her face beaming with delight. She squatted down and held out her fingers for Wolfie to sniff. He rewarded her with a copious lick of a tiny, pink tongue, and Nyree looked like she was going to faint with happiness. Lauren moved forward to join Nyree. She adored dogs too and couldn't wait to ruffle his soft fur. Watch out, Miss Lauren, warned Rodney from behind her head. You never know if he might bite. Lauren tittered and ignored the stable boy. But at that moment, Oakley's hackles went up, and he started growling and snarling in Lauren's direction. Oh my goodness, gasped his owner. He's never done that before. He clearly thinks you're not a dog lover. She glared at Lauren, who felt her face turning bright red. Thank you for listening. I'm Jennifer from Itsy Bitsy